And sometimes he tells me I can talk tennis for 20 seconds and won't give me the 20 seconds.
Is there anybody there?
What's up, Dad Hat Crew, and welcome to the final episode of the Dad Hat Chronicles podcast interview with Eric Proffitt of the Info and Average podcast. Maybe it's podcast. I don't know. And Mike Sellers of his. Well, we don't need to talk about his podcast because it's Mike. Just kidding. The Up to Chat podcast. Listen, we had a lot of fun. This whole interview was an absolute blast. They're really good friends, and they really, like I said, they really saved me when all of my episodes were deleted, which, by the way, good news. I was able to get them all back. We'll explain later. But anyways, on this episode, we talked about the playoffs. We talked about relocation of certain baseball teams and how that fits, and their thoughts on that, where some expansions could go as far as what they think of that. And, of course, Mike was wrong as well. And then we get into my famous, not so famous questions. So, guys, without further ado, I'll give you the episode. All right. So let's get back to baseball, guys. Let's get back to baseball. A couple more questions, and then we will get into some famous, not so famous questions. But as far as the playoffs, like when you guys, right before the playoffs started, did you guys expect this to go the way that it did at all? Like, I mean, the big teams just going out as quick as they did?
No, I mean, I was completely convinced. I mean, I always say at the beginning of the playoffs, like, no matter how dominant someone is in the regular season, that I'll never, as far as if I'm like betting or something, like I'll never take just one team against the field in baseball like I would some other sports. But that being said, I was very convinced that the Braves were going to win the whole thing this year. So I was shocked when not shocked they didn't win it, but shocked they went out like they did.
Right. I was just going to say, because I mean, they were a strong team. That was the best team in all year long.
Oh yeah. And when I went to that Brewers game, they were playing the Braves, and so I paid a lot more attention that game. It's like who their lineup was, and I'm like, man, like even their 8 and 9 hitters are just like absolute studs.
Scary.
Yeah.
And I remember the 90s, that was the Yankees, right? Like the Yankees were like, 1 through 9. That was a scary lineup. Now it's like Dodgers, Houston sometimes, but like Atlanta, my God. And just to go out like that.
And only first round, but I mean, lose 3 out of 4 games, and like 2 of those weren't close, and the one they did win, they were losing the whole game or something. It was
like they came back at the end, yeah.
But I mean, I guess, does it matter though that it was against the Phillies? So I mean, I guess that would be kind of a bigger picture of why that they, or how they lost, or why they lost. If it was somebody that's familiar with them.
True.
Yeah, they were playing each other all year around.
Yeah. I mean, everybody plays everybody this year, starting this year, but not like they typically do. So I don't. Maybe that had obviously something to do with it. But yeah, I was actually surprised that Philadelphia, obviously they made it to the World Series last year, but for them to get on a little bit of a roll before they ended up losing when they did. But I didn't think they'd get back to as far as they did this year. But for them to knock out the Braves like that. And then obviously with the Rangers starting, pretty fast and not quite as fast as like what Tampa did, but having a pretty good record and then falling apart and not even winning their own division, but then just steamrolling through on the road. They didn't. I think they went undefeated on the road, which was pretty surprising. Winning that, and then obviously beating Houston to get to the World Series, and then finally getting their first.
Do you guys think that the fact that Texas lost the division the last day of the year, the last day of the season, that fueled them to go straight through that gauntlet?
I mean, I feel like it could like mentally give you a little extra motivation, but I also think the way Paul described it is very accurate. It's like if you're in the postseason for any reason whatsoever, if you're not already giving it 100% at that point, no matter what the circumstances are up to that point, then like, what are you even doing there?
Yeah, it's true.
So on one hand, I can see that being the case, but on the other hand, it's like, you got to be giving it 100% at that point, no matter what. So theoretically, I don't think it should make a difference, really.
I think it does, though, man.
It could, but I also, speaking of points that Paul made, I also liked his point he made about the teams with the bye. Now, I will disagree with them, but I do think the 5 or 6 days off does make a difference. But I think he made an excellent point that a lot of these teams that are already playoff teams, when you're just using your 1 through 3 starters, you can hang with those guys. It's where the 4th and 5th starters come and play in the regular season that could make a difference and making you get a few extra wins then.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a series of 3 games, right? But most of them were sweep, so it was only 2 games that they played. So they went with the number 1 and number 2. Then you got the 5-game series, and gets a little bit more interesting at that point. So I don't know, man. I still think that like there's something to be said about one, the fact that like some of those teams, the big teams, were off and then they didn't play, and then 2, like starting early on, you go hot, you stay hot, and you continue to with that hot bag throughout the playoffs.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you're just, I agree that you get started hot in the playoffs. I don't think anyone would choose not to have a bye if they were given the option, because they would want to be guaranteed to get to that point. But that being said, somebody's got to win that division series. So whoever does win that division series, I think, is at an advantage because they've already won it now, and now they haven't been rested. Now they're pumped, they're hot, they're all in sync, all that stuff. So yeah, I think that makes a difference. Yes.
Okay. What about you, Eric? What do you think?
I was just really surprised, obviously as everybody else was, that the Diamondbacks were able to make it as far as they did. Because, obviously they were pretty young, had a lot of young talent on the, in their lineup, but the pitching, it's like a bunch of guys that I feel like nobody's ever really even heard of.
Yeah. True story.
Zach Gallen. Yeah, it's pretty much.
But yeah, Gallen, but then what, Merrill Kelly and some of those guys, it's like, who are these dudes? But yeah, I was pretty surprised. And then, going up against the Rangers, when Adolis Garcia went down, he probably could have won the MVP pretty easily if he didn't go down, but then they didn't fall apart and was able to finish off the last couple games to win the World Series.
When Scherzer went down, I was like, whatever. It didn't matter as much. Garcia was the one I was a little worried about, like, because up to that point he was the MVP of that whole series.
Yeah, for sure.
But imagine if they had Scherzer completely healthy the whole series, if they had Garcia completely healthy the whole series, and if they had Jacob deGrom there.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they didn't need all this anyway and won it, but just
think of that. I had as soon as the season was over, I was like, man, Rangers are gonna take it. I had the Rangers going because, like, I mean, they were pissed off that they was like, oh, Houston won the division. I'm like, no, Houston got the division because Texas lost. So it's like, and then Texas was just pissed off, and then they just went and just embarrassed everybody.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it, every minute of it.
Mike, have you been to Arlington before?
I have actually been there twice.
To the Home Depot Center?
No. I went the first time I went, I saw a Rangers game in the previous ballpark. The second time I went, I was there going to a Frisco Rough Riders game, but I got to the area an hour or two early, so I just drove to that area to kind of see the complex, and the Home Depot Center was there at that point. But so I just saw it from the outside.
It looks like a Home Depot. Let's be honest. That thing looks like an oversized Home Depot.
Yeah, I've been there. I've been maybe 4 times to Globe Life Field, and went to Globe Life Park quite a few times. I actually like Globe Life Park a lot better than Globe Life Field, but I actually saw, which was kind of cool, the stadium both with the roof open and closed. So I've seen games both, and so it's kind of interesting to see the different perspectives with the roof open and closed. So I was just curious if you
does it make a difference in your opinion?
I mean, obviously you can. It's just so weird hearing the crack of the bat indoors.
Mm-hmm.
Because the first time I ever heard that was when we went out to Arizona to Chase to see the Diamondbacks play, and it was just the weirdest thing hearing the crack of the bat in the enclosed stadium. But I mean, I don't know, I couldn't really tell maybe that much of a difference between the two, because when the roof was open, I think was in April, and then obviously when we went in when it was closed was middle of the summer, July or whatever.
Okay. I will eventually make it, about maybe 6 or 7 years from now. Who knows? Then maybe we'll have a new ballpark by then.
Yeah.
Right.
That's how it usually goes. All right. So speaking of ballparks and everything, right? Obviously the news came down, unanimous decision, right? Owners approved the Oakland A's move to Vegas. And now that has been a hot mess because they're going to be playing the next 2 years in the Aviators ballpark in San Francisco. Like, I mean, it's such a disaster. And the owner's like, oh, we gave everything. I'm like, did you though? Did you, try everything to keep it? Because I don't think you did. So what do you guys just thought on the fact that, like, now that we have that done, right? Like, I mean, that's been decided. Oakland's moving to Vegas. Tampa is keeping the Rays, there. They're getting a new ballpark. As far as that, like, your thoughts on the Oakland move, and then two, your thoughts on who do you guys think is going to be the two expansion cities that are going to be happening here in the next couple of years?
I think it's, first of all, in the Oakland move, I think it's funny how they've made some comments that like the Aviators ballpark isn't suitable for major league, even though the A's capacity lately has been less than like the Aviators
More
capacity.
AAA teams have had better,
Yeah.
more fans at their Oakland A's. So.
Exactly. So it's like you tell me you can't just do that for a couple more years anyway. Then, but I'm also curious if the A's will be just the Las Vegas A's, or are they going to take advantage of this opportunity to just completely rebrand with a cooler name and all that stuff? I hope I'm wrong, but I feel like they will just stay the A's just because they've moved a couple times already.
They're going to stay the A's for the next couple of years.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm even meaning long term. I feel like they'll.
No, I don't think long term. They're going to change.
I hope you're right, because they could do way better name than that. I just feel like
my brother doesn't hear this because he's a huge Oakland A's fan. I literally sent him a text message a couple of days ago. He hasn't answered me. I was like, my condolences, and hasn't answered me yet.
He's still grieving.
Oh yeah, he's still grieving.
Does he live in Oakland or near Oakland?
Never been.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. If he lived near there, it would be much worse, I think, because
he lives in New Hampshire. He lives in New Hampshire, bro.
So it sounds like Mike is a fan of Georgia and of all these teams, Jacksonville, and places he's not even anywhere close. But we're kind of all like that, I guess, because I'm a Green Bay fan. I've never lived there, Notre Dame, that type of thing. So I guess that does make sense.
Yeah.
I'm not in that one because obviously now I am because I'm in North Carolina, but Guardians fan, Browns fan. I was in Cleveland, right? Cavaliers fan, right? Those were my teams. So
you're a Hurricanes fan now for hockey?
I root for them. But the team that I like is not Columbus, not the Blue Jackets. I'm a Wilds fan.
Okay.
Minnesota Wild.
Like
yeah.
Brand. Is there just like the brand, or is there?
I just like the brand from the very get go. Mm-hmm. I became also a Kraken fan, but the problem is, it's like, dude, they play late at night, and
yeah,
dude, I'm by 10:30. I'm like, I gotta go to bed, bro.
Right.
I'll catch you on the East Coast when you come play down here on the East Coast.
Right. That is a cool brand, though, the Kraken.
It is a cool brand, but I also like Carolina. I have a jersey. My first hockey jersey is a Carolina one, the black one with the flag.
Yeah. Okay.
I have that one, but the problem is, it's just like if you don't have like Bally Sports with your sports package, you can't watch them.
Yeah.
And it's annoying. And let's not talk about Bally Sports because right now, I have a whole bunch of thoughts on the whole Major League Baseball and Bally Sports. That's just been, oh my God.
Yeah.
So for me, I think just kind of like when all those minor league teams here a couple years ago, all those cities lost their team. Same thing for Oakland. You feel really bad for all their fans and everything. And then like when the Raiders moved to Vegas, anytime, Vegas is a place for lots of people to go just as a, destination trip or whatever. So it's always feels like that they have more fans of the visiting team that they do the home team. So obviously I feel like that's probably going to be the same thing. If the Royals are out there or one of our teams are out there, that they're going to have probably more fans than what the Las Vegas A's would have. But I did get a chance back in 2015 to go out to Oakland. And of course, their ballpark was really bad, but their fans were the nicest people. They were so nice to us. We actually went when they were playing the Royals. And so we were wearing our Royals gear, and they were just so nice to us and so welcoming. So yeah, I feel really bad for them just because they were the nicest people. But I did get a chance to go to Las Vegas last year for the AAA National Championship game.
Okay, let's not bring this up again. Here we go.
I wasn't gonna say anything that you and Paul stood me up, but hey,
Oh, here we go
Seems
again.
like
but
a trend here.
Las Vegas ballpark it's such a beautiful ballpark. So yeah, I'd be curious to see. People have talked about, well, are they gonna have both? The AAA team and the Major League team? Because I figured they'll probably try to build the Major League ballpark down by the Strip. That's kind of where Allegiant Stadium is for the Raiders, where they're playing at. So I figured
the Knights are down there as well. Yeah, for the Vegas
right.
Knights, the Golden
Whereas
Knights.
The Aviators out in Summerlin, and it's probably roughly about a 30-minute drive from the airport, so it's not that close. I wonder if they're going to try to, because I hope they don't do anything with that ballpark, because the Las Vegas Aviators ballpark is really, really nice. I really enjoy it.
And I think it can survive, right? They're the minor league system anyways of the Oakland A's. So I mean that it'll help out, like, as far as like when it comes to rehabs and things like that for their major league ballpark club. So we'll see.
I mean, they still have Cashman Field still exists too, which is where the 51s played.
Cool. Could they play there for a little bit? They played in Oakland, so it couldn't get any worse.
Right? Yeah. I don't know what the condition of that one is. I know the XFL's Vegas Vipers were playing there last year, though. So unless they've done something to
yeah, that team no longer exists either.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's one of the first teams that are to go from the XFL.
Okay. Is this because of the merge with the USFL?
They were going to go anyways.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not good.
And then to answer your question about as far as the expansion,
oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
obviously the first one that's probably going to be the most likely to happen is Mike's hometown in Nashville.
Yes.
So he'll be he'll get rid of, since Miggy's retiring, he'll no longer be a Tigers fan, and he'll be the new Nashville whatever they are.
That is when he'll move to Nashville. That was like,
yes,
as soon as they announced the expansion, Mike was like, well, time to go.
They'll be like that meme of the guy looking over his shoulder, like the Tigers will be the current girl will be looking over his shoulder at the new Nashville team.
Ooh.
But then same thing then with Vegas. What's that do with the Nashville Sounds then? Are they going to have both? I mean, you have St. Paul and then you have the Minnesota Twins. So it works with teams right there, but will they keep both? I love Nashville with the Sound. I've been there, love the scoreboard and everything. The other one, and I can't remember if I heard maybe Patrick or somebody say Salt Lake or maybe Portland, possibly, because I know you obviously are big on hoping that Raleigh gets a team, but I could see Portland just since it's such a, they already have NBA there and everything.
I can see those too. I feel like if I had to pick a second one, I feel like I would pick Montreal. Not saying it should. I just feel like that seems to get the most Nashville and Montreal seem to get the most traction from the things I hear and stuff.
Is that something they actually will get, or that everybody wants them to?
Probably once, probably, because I mean, but it's like NBA, like, they always talk about expansion to Seattle. So whenever a city loses a team, they're always like the first city you mention when you think of expansion. So again, it might completely just be something that the fans want and might not be anything that the city is really thinking about doing, but I don't know.
But then, if we get in expansion MLB, obviously that's going to have to bring in more minor league, so that'll be good as big minor league fans that we are, having new locations and everything, new teams there as well. So
they need 8 new teams, even though in my mind I would guess at least a handful of those teams would just be like independent league teams they're calling up, so to speak. But there would inevitably be a few new teams, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm going to hold off on, I'm still thinking that North Carolina gets a team. I think that North Carolina, with the way that it's going, the growth and all the influx, I think they get a team. We're the biggest market without a major league team here in the Raleigh-Durham area.
And there's so much great minor league baseball there, though. I couldn't even get to all the stadiums when I was out that way last year. There's just so much baseball. So I could see that.
But I'm going to ask you, Ed, the same question that Eric just asked. Is that something you just want, or you really think that's the case?
No, I think they really do have a legit case. I really do think that they do have a legit case. I think everybody keeps thinking that it's going to be Charlotte. I don't think Charlotte has the capacity in their area to build a team. I know I just got a thumbs up on my thing. If you go like this, it'll give you a thumbs up.
I noticed that. I was wondering what that was.
Yeah, like on Zoom, like like you do this and like it does a bunch of stuff now, like with hand stuff. I don't know why it does it, like, and now it's not doing it. I don't know why. Let's see. Do you do a wave? I think that they do the wave. There it is. No, it's not doing it anymore. We're just playing with the Zoom here, guys. This is really going off the rails right now.
But I think if North Carolina does get one, I think it would be Charlotte personally.
Everybody says that. Everybody says that. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
We'll just prove you guys wrong.
I mean,
Charlotte is 2 hours away.
But I mean, what's the closest one to you right now? Atlanta or something?
Atlanta. Which is weird because like if Cleveland comes to Baltimore, we can't watch the games. If they see Atlanta, they can't watch the games. Yeah, the market. Yeah. TV market at its best, guys. It's wonderful stuff.
Right?
Let me tell you.
When I was visiting some of my other friends down in North Carolina, they said that they had a friend that's like a Red Sox fan and they couldn't watch a Red Sox game because it was like blacked out there.
There are certain sections of like of here that like if you're trying to watch a team, forget it. It's not gonna happen. Yeah. So I'm glad that the only thing that I'm glad that I'm here in Cleveland is like I see the majority of the games because of the MLB package. Other than that, I couldn't see any other games. Just that's how it goes if they play Baltimore or Atlanta.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Well, hey, listen, we're almost at the end of this wonderful episode that just went off the rail right from the very get-go. I will blame Mike and his love for tennis and IndyCar.
I'm not ashamed.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure. As soon as he gets off this thing, he's like, oh, Ed and Eric made fun of me again.
I cry myself to sleep most nights.
They didn't invite me to a baseball game.
I swear to God, can't wait to text this on the text thread. Just you wait. So all right, boys. If I'm gonna ask a couple of just random questions. Obviously you guys already know most of these, but if you guys were to pick the one team, minor league baseball team, that you would root for the rest of your life, no other minor league team, Mike or Eric, no minor league, no tennis or anything like that. Calm the hell down. What would that team be?
Nashville Sounds.
Yeah, I think
first of all, it's in the best city.
And what about you, Wind Surge, Eric?
So I'm gonna go one that's non-affiliated that I really, really like is the High Point Rockers. And I know you've been out to Truist Point Stadium. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see High Point play. I got to see the Carolina Disco Turkeys play there. They play the Winston-Salem Moravians when we were there for the 4th of July. That ballpark is gorgeous, and I really like the High Point Rockers, and I love their rocking chair logo. So if we're saying non-affiliated, I'd have to say the Rockers. And then affiliated, I mean, I've been there a couple times now, is the Daytona Tortugas, Jackie Robinson Ballpark. It's one of the oldest affiliated minor league ballpark out there, and just the city and everything. So, obviously I love the Wind Surge and everything, but I'd say affiliated would have to be the Daytona Tortugas.
That's a good one. Good money that you would have picked the Wind Surge.
Yeah, I seriously did too. I was like, you got season tickets and everything. I was like, I pegged you as a Wind Surge forever.
That's too easy of an answer.
It is too easy.
Just like Mike saying, "Oh, Nashville," we knew that was going to be the answer.
Everybody,
based off your logic, the easy answer for me would be the Dayton Dragons or the Florence Yells. So
yeah,
no, because you don't talk about those teams as much as you do about the Nashville Sounds.
Well, yeah, I just meant as far as like
Eric talks about the Wind Surge because he has season tickets. His kids are always there, so like that would have been an obvious one for me. But for you, like everybody knows, like you have stock in Nashville Sounds.
Okay, that's true. You're right.
What's your answer to that, Ed?
Durham Bulls.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Was that the case even before you moved to North Carolina?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
That was the first thing. Like my first baseball movie really that I ever saw and watched was Bull Durham, and I fell in love with that team ever since. And so that was the team.
Yeah, I got a chance to get out there to the Durham Bowl Athletic Park last year, so I'm glad I was able to experience the game out there.
I got to meet somebody too during a game in Durham Bulls. I was 9'7", dude.
That's like a cool dude.
Sweet Jesus, is that Sasquatch? My God.
It sounds like a
I'm a
cool
tall
dude.
guy. So like I'm 6'2". Like I'm a tall guy, right? I'm not a skinny guy either, but like I look like a wimp next to this dude. I'm like, sweet Jesus.
I drank milk and ate vegetables when I was growing up. So.
Did you
That's
drink your
all you had.
Ovaltine? Jesus. All right. Coke product. I mean, Coke or Pepsi?
110,000% Pepsi.
Ooh, you almost had me worried there. Almost had me worried.
This is a big deal to me. All my close friends and family know how big of a deal this is to me. Like, I will, if I'm going to like a fast food place, I will make my decision based off first, is it a Coke or a Pepsi place? And then I'll decide from there.
All right. What about you, Eric?
I don't know if I can answer this honestly because I don't drink soda. I haven't
What?
drank soda
Oh, that's
since
right. You did say that.
summer before 8th grade. So
Like at all.
yeah, I mean, I don't drink soda at all. So well, I
Just say
played.
Pepsi then.
I know I was thinking about just saying that just for you guys, but I mean, I can't lie and say I like one or the other because I couldn't tell you the last time I drank either one of those. I used to, but then I played football in high school and they told us horror stories about two-a-days, and one guy drank so much soda that he, passed out and
That's
had to go
because
to
he
the
probably
hospital.
drank it for morning, lunch, and afternoon.
Well, true. Yeah. So I basically gave it up and haven't really drank any since. So
Bro, I love me some Pepsi though. Cherry Pepsi. I was just in Newburgh a couple of weekends ago, and birthplace of Pepsi. It was a cool place, man. I bought
I
me
need to check
a
that out.
blue mug, a blue Pepsi mug. I bought
Yeah,
the one in a
nice.
bottle and everything. I drank the hell out of that thing. It was
I love
delicious. Yeah. Like I will not drink Coke. Like if today we went to go get something to eat, quick. I was like, what kind of I literally will ask. I was like, do you guys sell Coke or Pepsi? It's like, oh, we sell Coke. All right, Sprite.
Yeah, right. The rest of the time I'll try to be healthy and I'll say the water.
Yeah. Give me water. With a lemon, please. Give me a little bit of flavor at least.
Yeah.
So okay. Out of all the ballparks that you went to this year, what was your favorite item that you ate at the ballpark?
For me, it's got to be I think it was called the SS Baywalker. It was at Pensacola. It was basically a crab and shrimp sandwich, and it was 10 out of 10 for sure.
Okay. All right. What about you, Eric?
when I was in Hillsboro to see the Hops, they had a hot dog that was wrapped in bacon and then had the nacho cheese that you would typically get with nachos, and then like little onion straws or petals on top. So that I don't know if they had a specific name for it, but that hot dog was really good.
Damn, that sounds good as all hell. I kind of want to, replicate that now. I'm gonna go put it on the shopping list. What are we getting? It was like bacon, hot dog, and nacho cheese. Onion rings on top of Blaze.
Yep.
That'd be delicious.
And I had water rice in at the Jersey Shore Blue Claws. They had Paul's famous water ice. So
I was just gonna say, Paul will be very happy with you. Like what you even said it nicely for him.
Yeah,
He might shed a tear because of this. So I don't know.
if you say something about the Eagles too.
The Eagles, exactly. He's very, he's pleased with the outcome of the
Right.
of the game.
I love that.
That was one of my highlights, just because I was like, I am pleased.
Yeah.
I was like,
even an exclamation point.
that is the most Philadelphia thing to do right there. I was like, I am pleased.
Yeah.
he may not be pleased after tomorrow night's game when they're playing the defending Super Bowl champs in Kansas City.
Yeah.
We'll see.
You probably won't be.
No, probably won't. He'll probably be upset.
Yeah.
Boys, I also, now that I want to give you guys a shot at, talking about a little bit about your podcast, what you guys kept coming on here soon, in that, don't give me any specifics, right? Because I'll say this, like, oh, I'm going to split this into like 2 episodes, right? So like, it'll be 2 weeks from now or something like that. But like, give me something you guys are coming for the rest of the year, what you guys are working on, things like that for each of your individual podcasts.
Well, I got my podcast is the Up to Chat podcast. It's every other week.
They talk tennis,
Indy cars, a little
Indy
bit of
500,
baseball, right? I got coming up. I've got Brett Kell. He's in our fantasy football league. He's got his binging baseball podcast, and before the end of the year, I'll be doing one of my greatest hits, Volume 2, which last year I did just kind of a collage of a little 2-minute clip from each of my guests, called it Greatest Hits Volume 1 this year, getting the Volume 2 out there. And I haven't talked to him yet, but last year, Eric Mertens agreed to be the first guest of every year. So coming up soon, I'm going to have to reach out to see if he's willing to do that again for the beginning of 2024.
Hey, Eric, have you gotten an invitation to go back into the Up to Chat podcast?
No, of course not.
Okay, cool. He does not like you.
I know. He's made that well aware in the text thread.
Yeah. I was like, well, you make fun of my favorite quarterback of all time. You're not coming on my podcast.
Right? I had the text all typed up, like, hey, Eric, I need someone. Can you come on? And right before I hit send, Eric sent that Trevor Lawrence text. I'm like, I delete.
No, you should send a text message and then right 2 seconds later, psych.
Right? Yeah. Unsend.
Just kidding. Trevor Lawrence is the best. I love him. I have a poster in my bedroom.
The
goat. Eric, what you guys got going on for the
So we have the most average podcast out there. It's the Earn Fun Average podcast that I host every week with my brother from Mississippi, Johnny Bolin. Everybody loves his Southern Mississippi accent. But yeah, we're coming up on, we're going to be hitting 100 episodes here in a, maybe it's probably 10 episodes or so. So we're not quite there yet. So a couple more months, but we're going to come up on 100 episodes. So been a lot of fun over the last year, 2 years or so. I'm getting to record with my good friend Johnny.
I love it, man. That's awesome. Congratulations. 100, huh? 100.
Getting there.
You guys are old.
No, that's just Johnny.
Oh, I forgot that. Gentlemen, this has been a lot of fun. Making fun of Mike as usual. This is this is the highlight of my my weekend, where we make fun of Mike for his love of tennis, the soon to be the London Jaguars, because everybody knows they're going to try to move to London.
They're undefeated when they play over there.
Well, yeah, I mean, all 3 of their losses have been in Jacksonville, so maybe that wouldn't be such a bad thing.
It's true story. That's true. So, make sure you guys are, following these two gentlemen, and obviously Johnny Bowling of the Earn for an Average podcast. Follow their podcast, subscribe to them, give them 5 stars, and tell other people about those podcasts because they are great. They're awesome. These guys are pros-ish at what they do. Eric is a pro, Mike not so much.
I'm a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, right. Hall of Famer. There you go. And make sure you guys are making sure to that subscribe to the Dad Hat Chronicles podcast. Obviously, it comes out every Monday morning, 6 a.m. Eastern time. The Dad Hat Chronicles Sports Show, which I have invited Eric numerous times, but he still keeps telling me he is too busy to come. So make sure you guys are listening. That we talk all sports. Sometimes we talk tennis for like 20 seconds at the most. So
and sometimes he tells me I can talk tennis for 20 seconds and won't give me the 20 seconds.
That's when I go, psych, right. I gotta go. And then again, thank you for everything. We're almost here at the end of 2023, gentlemen. Hopefully 2024 will be a better year for the American League Central, because this year sucked.
Right. I think the best thing that AL Central did this year was those new Twins uniforms.
Can you believe that? The best uniforms were actually the Twins, and none of us are fans of that team. Right. All right. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much. Now I got to go end this episode, and then I got to go edit it, because this is how this goes, right? Very professional stuff here goes on at the Dad Hat Chronicles podcast studio. So we'll see you guys around, and then support the minor leagues. Hope you guys enjoyed that episode with Mike and Eric. Now, make sure you guys are following both of them, their podcasts. Subscribe to their podcasts, all right? Support those podcasters out there like myself. As far as myself, make sure you guys are subscribing to the Dad Hat Chronicles podcast. I am everywhere when it comes to distribution of the podcast, okay? Also, don't forget that on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9 p.m. Eastern time, okay? I have my sports show with Donnie Wise and Patrick Larson. We talk all sports, okay? Now that baseball is over, we talk a little bit about baseball. We also talk about football, hockey. Listen, I even give Mike 20 seconds. Sometimes. Not all the time. But make sure you guys are listening to us. And then, like I said, support all the minor leaguers and buy yourself a dad hat. Until then, guys, keep on grinding and always support the minor leagues. See ya. Hey, Eric, have you gotten an invitation to go back into the Up to Chat podcast?
No, of course not.
Okay, cool. He doesn't like you.